Although I was aware of the British government's shortcomings, I had no idea they could be this severe. Farage Nigel has made a startling notice about his passing on Remembrance Sunday. We will go over this in depth and cover all of the most recent news from throughout the nation, but before, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and become a part of our rapidly expanding community. Just a brief note to let you know that we have brand new Stuck Farmer t-shirts in stock. You can get them right now at British.com or by clicking the link in the description. Nigel Farage has blamed the establishment for not allowing him to take a public-facing role with other party leaders at the National Service of Remembrance at the Senate. Today Farage, as leader of Reform UK, was forced to watch proceedings from a balcony on wall along with Green Party co-leader Cara Dina and some representatives from Quebec in Canada. Farage said that Reform UK was told that it could not lay a wreath, as the party only has 5 MPs in the House of Commons below the threshold of 6 MPs needed to qualify for wreath-laying. However, Farage pointed out that Gavin Robinson, deputy leader of the DUP, laid a wreath. The DUP has 5 MPs in Westminster, exactly the same number as Reform UK. Farage said that the establishment had blocked him from laying a wreath and said that after the next election, when the party hopes to win more seats, it will be a different story. He added, "I personally am not complaining, but other people are." A government source told us that the DUP laid a wreath on behalf of the Democratic Unionist Party following an addendum to the 1984 protocol. This is to ensure that all 4 constituent parts of the UK are represented at the service of remembrance. This 1984 protocol stipulates that only the leaders at Westminster of parties which had won and taken up 6 or more seats at the preceding general election should lay wreaths separately. The SNP and Plaid Cymru have an agreement that they lay a joint wreath, with the SNP laying their wreath on behalf of both parties this year. The addendum to the 1984 protocol is as follows: to ensure all 4 constituent parts of the UK can always be represented, the Speaker, the Prime Minister's Office, the Northern Ireland Office, the Chief Whip, and the Royal Household. Plaid Cymru have all agreed that the party with the most sitting MPs from each of the devolved nations should be given the opportunity to lay a wreath. The SNP and the SNP have their own agreement in place from 2001 that they lay a joint wreath, with each party taking turns in alternate years to be the wreath layer. The other party is then invited to watch the ceremony with other guests from the FCD building on their non-rearing year. The SNP's Westminster leader, Stephen Flynn, caused controversy when he appeared at the Senate half with other political leaders after refusing to sing "God Save the King." Flynn also joined former Prime Minister Saikia Starmer, opposition leader KMY Badino, and Liberal Democrat leader Sir Ed Davey, who stood near the Senate half. This was an unusual 8-member group of former prime ministers. Tony Blair was seated by Sir John Major Brown, Gordon May, Boris Johnson, Baroness of Lord Cameron Liz Truss, and Rishi Sunak. Farage, who is a known history buff, also paid a heartfelt tribute to World War I hero Private Herbert Collini ahead of Remembrance Sunday. Speaking in an interview earlier this month, the Reform UK leader said he volunteered for World War I. He was defending a position against the Great German Advance Kaiser Bill's offensive, as we called it, in March 1918, and this was after Russia had been knocked out of the war. 2 million troops came to the Western Front and frankly nearly beat us at the war. Collins' position was, as with some others, to hold the Germans off as long as they possibly could to allow the rest of the army to retreat, and so Collini was put in a horrendous position. Really, anyway, they were being attacked on all sides, surrounded by goodness knows what, and Collini famously says to the rest of the machine gun crew, "Off you go lads, I can handle this," and stays on his own, firing. In the end, the Germans become so frustrated with him that they actually use an airplane to take him out. They bomb him from the air, and that kills him, that takes him out, and he gets the posthumous. In other news, Victoria Cross has been criticized for betraying the Chos Islanders by neglecting to invite an archipelago representative to lay a wreath at the Senate on Remembrance Sunday. The islands are already embroiled in an international dispute over Sakir Esti's decision to cede sovereignty to Mauritius, but now their apparent remembrance. 12 representatives from the UK's overseas territories laid wreaths at the UK's National Service of Remembrance at the Senate in Whitehall on Sunday in recognition of the role that their citizens played in both world wars, a move that has been denounced as a complete betrayal and a denial of their right to self-determination. Anguilla Bermuda reps the Cayman Islands and the British Virgin Islands, the islands of Falkland, Jalta, Montserrat, the islands of Pitton. The UK government urged Diego Garcia to take part in the wreath-laying ceremony, but no one from the British Indian Ocean Territory, which includes the Chagos Islands, did. Instead, wreaths were set at the Cenote by St. Helena Ascension Island, Tristan d'Unja, the Turks, and the Kos Islands. Jean Frenois Nellon, a spokesperson for Chosan Voices, which speaks for thousands of Chagosians and their descendants in the UK, told the media about the snub, saying that regrettably, no community member or representative was invited to attend the wreath-laying ceremony at the Senate. During World War II, Chagosians living on Diego Garcia helped Allied troops, and the islands housed an RAF station from 1944 to 1946. According to Nellon, my grandmother, who was born on Diego Garcia and is still alive, assisted the wounded soldiers at the hospital. He also mentioned that the Chagosians were assisting the Allies on the islands in the event that the Germans attacked British overseas territories. Since 2019, UK overseas territories have only been permitted to lay wreaths, but it is believed that no representative of the Chagos Islands was ever asked to participate between 1968 and 1973. The Chagosians were forcibly relocated to Mauritius and the United Kingdom by the UK. Many of the thousands of Chagosians living in the UK today wish to return to their homeland. The British Indian Ocean Territory was not represented at Remembrance Day, according to the Royal British Legion, which claims that decisions regarding wreath layers were made by the Department for Culture, Media, and Sport, DCMS. The department declined to comment, but a government source confirmed to the media that the territory is administered from London and that there is no permanent population on the Chagos Islands. Andrew Rosnell, a Tory MP and the president of the ALP Party parliamentary group on the Chagos Islands, told the media that he did not accept the government's justification for excluding the Chagosians from the Cenote ceremony, saying that while it may be true, it does not justify the exclusion of the Chagosian people living in Britain from sending a representative to lay their own wreath. He said that this was a complete betrayal of the British Chagosian population in the United Kingdom. The Chagosian people are being denied their right to self-determination by the government, which is behaving like a colonial power. If you haven't already, please make sure to like this video and let me know what you think about the topics we covered in today's video in the comment box below. For more British stuff, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and be careful. Goodbye.